Firemen live to help others live. It's that simple. Every day they wait for the call. Every day that passes without that alarm is a blessing and a burden. They know it's only a matter of time until they'll have to put their lives on the line. So they wait and they wonder. For the men of Engine 7, Ladder 1, the waiting and the wondering had lasted all summer. By early September, the filmmakers had captured so much about life around the firehouse, except for one thing, a big fire. There's a superstition among firemen. When you go too long without any fire, be prepared. Something big is coming. What you're about to see is how brave men work under stress, surrounded by chaos. They trained all their lives for this moment, but nothing could have prepared them for what was about to happen.
It's going to be a beautiful day today. Sunshine throughout. Low humidity. Really a splendid September day. The afternoon temperature about 80 degrees. Great weather for the primary election. Tonight, clear and cool, low 60 in Midtown.
It's begun to sound like some sort of a cliche. But really, September 11th started out like every other day. 8 o'clock in the morning.
Don't throw the fat away.
The day guys were just coming in. I was off that day. 13 guys from my firehouse were on.
Around 8:30.
Engine, ladder.
I believe the run came in.
Get the run for the gas leak, or an odor of gas in the street, actually, I think it was.
Just lisping on in church, odor of gas.
Yeah, I don't think anything of it. You get on the rig, you go, you say, all right, it's an odor of gas.
Jules was riding with the battalion chief, Joseph Pfeiffer, videotaping.
It was just another call, and I'm riding with the battalion chief.
It was basically camera practice. See, Jules had only been shooting for a few weeks. Before that, Gideon was the main cameraman.
Every time the battalion goes, I go. You know, I just need to practice, so I shoot.
What's your temperature?
No, I don't stop.
Gas mains right here. Right down.
We checked the area with meters, and it was kind of routine.
It was 8:46 in the morning. That's when this stopped even resembling a normal day.
Right then and there, I knew that this was going to be the worst day of my life as a firefighter.
Go to the trade center.
Immediately, I knew this wasn't an accident.
Oh my God. That looked like a direct attack. What?
Chief Pfeiffer made the first official report.
We have a number of floors on fire. It looked like the plane was aiming towards the building. Transmit a third alarm. We'll have the staging area at Vesey and West Street.
It was probably a 2-minute ride, but it seemed like it was forever because there was a lot of things going through your head.
Everyone we was passing was looking up. It's like the world just stopped.
We are just currently getting a look at the World Trade Center. We have something that has happened here. Flame and an awful lot of smoke from one of the towers. Whatever has occurred has just occurred within minutes, and we are trying to determine exactly what that is.
You want me to see it for me right in there? Go right in front.
As we swung around in front of World Trade, my mind tells me, wow, this is bad.
What do we do? Like, what do we do for this?
We park right under the awning of One World Trade Center. Chief Pfeiffer puts his gear on, and I remember asking him, Chief, can I come in with you? I want to come in with you. And he says, yep.
Yeah, you stay with me.
Come in with me, never leave my side.
Who got the can?
I go in, and I hear screams, and right to my right, there was 2 people on fire, burning. I just didn't want to film that. It was like, no one should see this.
Pfeiffer was the first chief into the building. Right away, a guy from the Port Authority told him the damage was somewhere above the 78th floor. But all you had to do was look around. It was obvious. Something had happened right there in the lobby.
You just saw that all the windows were blown out.
The lobby looked like the plane hit the lobby.
Later, they'd figure out that flaming jet fuel had shot straight down the elevator shaft.
All of this damage was done already. People was all over the place. So you knew it was going to be worse when we got upstairs.
Flames are shooting out. Smoke is pouring out.
I want you to get an engine and team up. Get an outside line. Talk to 7. Okay, I want you to go putting higher than 70. What's going on?
My main concern was we had 20 floors of people above. And we had to figure out a way to get them out. As it turned out, we had no usable elevators.
With the elevators out, there was only one way to get up there. Walk.
Companies come in, you see them with a concerned look on their face, and they're sent up.
A firefighter in full gear, carrying 60-something pounds of hose and equipment. Takes about a minute to climb one flight of stairs. These guys were looking at 80 stories just to get there. Then they'd start working.
I felt the mood that we were going to put the fire out. Everyone seemed to be confident. I know I was.
You basically looked at it and said, okay, we got 10, 20 stories of fire. We'll deal with it. We'll get up there. We'll get to it.
There are fire crews just screaming into this area from every conceivable direction.
By this time, some of the top chiefs in the department had joined Chief Pfeiffer, running the command post, sending guys upstairs.
Every time I looked around, it was new faces. Some that I recognized. I had seen Chief Pronti, great guy, white hair, mustache, the perfect grandfather that you'd like to have. I remember seeing Lieutenant Fody, who was working with 9 Engine. Said hello and then started going up.
Another of the men who went up was Lieutenant Kevin Pfeiffer. He was in charge of Engine 33, and he was the chief's brother.
I just remember we both looked at each other, said a few words, but it was more the look with a real concern that this was going to be something tough.
It's going to be a tough job. It's going to be a long job. They'll put it out. That's what they do.
The last time Jules had seen his brother was an hour ago, at the firehouse. Far as Jules knew, Gideon had followed Tony, the probie, into the tower.
When we had left for the odor of gas in the street, for me, he was in the engine. And then when we arrived to the Trade Center, he went up immediately with the guys. So for me, my brother is going up the stairs.
It turns out, Gideon was with Tony.
Engine 7, ladder 1.
This is firefighter Benetados.
But Tony was still at the firehouse.
Yeah. No, I was off duty.
And now he'd been ordered to stay there.
Everybody's been recalled. All available units must come back to the firehouse.
While Tony tried to keep up with the phones,
This is firefighter Benetados.
Gideon took his camera and started walking down towards the Trade Center. He was sure his brother was inside, and he wanted to get to him.
I remember slowly walking down to the World Trade Center. What really sticks in my mind is passing by the people and filming them and filming their astonishment. And the eyes saying, this is not happening. And remember tilting the camera back and forth between the people and the tower in front of me.
Both towers of the World Trade Center have been hit by aircraft. Both are in flames.
There is black smoke coming from both of the towers. It's a horrific scene here. There's debris flying through the air.
Mayday. There were two planes. I saw the second one hit. It hit the other tower.
What we knew was that a second plane hit, and we had a lot of people trapped.
Stay together. Stay together. Let me know what's going on. We're just going to have to walk out. One way to go. Second plane just missed. Motherfuckers.
Now the Chiefs would have to set up a whole other operation over in Tower 2.
I'm going to send him up. I got no chief up there.
When the second plane hit, that's when you could see fear.
Both of them are on fire.
You could see it in everybody's eyes.
Tell her your co-workers are with you.
There were people from all over the world in these streets. Different colors, different languages. On those few blocks between the firehouse and the World Trade Center, the entire world was there.
So two aircraft. Two aircraft. The first one on one World Trade Center. The second one just happened.
And they were all looking at the same thing and talking about the same thing and reacting the same way.
We saw a plane going a plane went straight into the building, right there into the side. Yes, how big is the plane? Yeah.
That was a direct hit.
Huge one.
There were two planes?
Yeah. There's two. One in each building.
Yeah, I saw the last one.
We heard boom in the whole. What are those people going to do? On the second one?
All the elevators are blocked out.
Yeah.
Well, the staircases must still be, right?
Stairs were crowded. People were coming down burned.
Upstairs in Tower 1, the guys from my firehouse were now 10 floors up and climbing.
If we did talk, it was to the people coming down, trying to comfort them, tell them it's all right, get out, stay calm.
I wound up finding a woman in the C staircase. Her arms were all burned. She was just sitting there, basically in shock. So I picked her up under her arms and I put her in with a group of guys, and I asked the group of guys to, take it down.
I knew we had to get up to help people. We had to get up there.
People pretty much said, why are y'all going up there? Get out.
Their concern was to get everybody out. That was the key. As much people out as possible.
Most of the people in Tower 1 came out on the mezzanine above the lobby. Then they'd get out through another building.
All right, I want to use the lobby of 7 as a triage.
The chiefs didn't want anyone going through the lobby doors. First, it was because debris was falling outside. Then, it was people falling.
You don't see it, but you know where it is.
What's that?
And you know that every time you hear that crashing sound, it's a life which is extinguished. It's not something you could get used to. And the sound was so loud.
I just remember looking up, thinking, how bad is it up there that the better option is to jump?
The FBI is now investigating reports of a plane hijacking before these crashes we're telling you about at the World Trade Center towers this morning.
Pieces of the building and the planes actually landed blocks away.
Please don't walk in this area, please!
Gideon was walking with his camera when he found a chunk of the plane engine that had crashed completely through Tower 2.
Don't be kicking stuff over here. This is evidence. No, you don't kick it. All right, just get out of the area. Just go. This is evidence. You're kicking stuff. What's the matter with you?
That was as close as Gideon would get to the Trade Center, without a firefighter anyway.
So I decided that the smartest thing to do was to slowly walk back to the firehouse and find a way to go to Jules.
We're just getting word now. One of the two planes was hijacked after takeoff from Boston. This is
two airplanes have crashed into the World Trade Center in an apparent terrorist attack on our country.
We now have reports of a fire at the Pentagon. A fire at the Pentagon being reported this morning.
I was just saying that the officials are calling this an act of terrorism. They're saying that's clearly what it is, clearly not an accident.
Arriving back at the firehouse, and Tony is still alone, and he has no clue of what to do.
The Pentagon's on fucking fire? War. This is war.
And just by listening to him, freaking out and swearing and behaving like I've never seen him behaving, Tony was expressing what we all felt. At that point, I saw the fireman in him taking over.
I can't believe the fucking Pentagon. Somebody has balls.
I mean, a few times he was just pulling his gear and about to rush to the door, and realizing that he was the only one in charge of this empty firehouse, and going back to the house watch and looking again at those pictures on TV, and just to make sure that it was real.
These two enormous explosions at the World Trade Center.
Tony just wanted to go there.
In the lobby, the chiefs were trying to run the largest rescue operation any of them had ever seen. With next to no information coming in from outside.
You got a phone that's working?
I think the entire world knew more than we did. Everybody had seen the attacks. Everybody had seen the tower burning.
De New York, un avion s'est encastré dans une des deux.
Had seen the Pentagon. For us, we didn't have a clue of what was going on outside our lobby.
What elevator's working? Everybody right over here.
Just like a beehive, that place. Everybody's working on the phone, everybody's working on the radio. Everybody's getting information, sending guys up, getting reports. And just trying to get this thing under control.
At one point, there was even a rumor. A third plane was heading in. You got to remember, at that moment, anything seemed possible.
Other than NYPD, Port Authority, police, and the military. And I need that done now. Another fucking plane.
Many people out of the fucking building, let it burn up. We ain't letting this
We got a lot of people with us, so we got to get these people out.
That's the priority.
On top of everything else, just talking to the guys in the stairwells was tough.
Fort David to Battalion 7.
The tower's internal communication setup had been knocked out by the crash. That left fire department radio.
Suddenly, you have hundreds and hundreds of firefighters that have radios. Seems to become more and more difficult.
OEM-1 to base.
Please provide me again with your location.
Is there anyone in this car? Is there anyone in this car?
You had one guy from the WTC who was trying frantically to reach anyone on the elevators.
69 car. Anyone in this car? Oh, is there anyone in this car?
And going through the list,
Hello, is there anyone in this car?
and there's about 98 elevators in the World Trade Center.
Is there any kind of recall capability for fire
Can't speak.
In the middle of all this, suddenly an elevator opens up. And you see people not having a clue of what's going on, because they've been stuck in there since the first plane hit. I was seeing the look on the firefighters. It was not fear, it was what's going on. Disbelief. That made me panic a little bit. That made me panic. It was the first time I had seen Father Judge, the chaplain, as he's called.
He was in the lobby with us, and I could tell that he was praying. You know, Father Judd, he would at least make eye contact with you and kind of give you a reassuring look. That wasn't occurring, almost like he knew that this was not good.
This is a dangerous way to go out.
Back at the firehouse, off-duty guys were starting to show up.
You know, we're just waiting right now.
What's that?
We're just waiting right now.
Tony was, he just had one thing in his mind.
This is bad.
To go there, and he couldn't.
2 swift alarms right away.
And that's when Chief Burns arrived.
I need a cup of coffee.
Larry Burns joined the fire department in 1957, retired a battalion chief 3 years ago.
I couldn't wait. I had to get down there. Because you know what? They're my firefighters. It's my building. It's my city. Leave your gear all together, get a flashlight, and a bottle of water.
Okay.
Tell the Proby, get your gear, let's go.
I remember Tony asking me to bring him some gloves, medical gloves.
Grab a box of gloves. Go grab a box of gloves.
And by the time I found them and rushed back, they were gone.
The Proby and the retired chief were lost in the crowd, headed down to the Trade Center.
I think at that point, the lobby was pretty empty. There were just a few of us in the lobby, and we were discussing tactics.
This is Tower 1. This is Tower 1. Put a big 1 here.
Some of the outlying companies didn't know what Tower 1 was and Tower 2. So we were just trying to help them out by writing it on the desk to make it obvious to people.
It was just before 10 o'clock. A little over an hour since the first plane hit. Firefighters from all over the city were inside those towers. Hundreds of them.
I remember I'm filming Chief Pfeiffer, and he's on the radio.
A situation that started bad just gets worse and worse and worse. The World Trade Center, South Tower, which was hit by a plane and racked by an explosion approximately an hour ago, has totally collapsed.
What happened?
If you're just joining us this morning, you're in for a horrific surprise.
The scene here is just one right out of one of the movies you would see in Hollywood. People walking around with cell phones in tears, holding their heads, looking up at what's left of the World Trade Center and just shaking their heads in disbelief.
Out on the street, everyone knew what just happened. The South Tower was gone. They saw it collapse and ran.
I waited. Time slowed down and everything became pitch black.
Everybody all right?
Yeah, I'm okay.
How's the way out of here?
And then realized, okay, I'm not dead.
Yeah, right here.
So let's turn on my floodlight on top of my camera.
All right, come on down this way. Yeah, let's get out the way we came in. Okay, come on down. Everybody down.
Inside the Trade Center, all Jules and Chief Pfeiffer knew,
Yeah, right here.
all anyone knew, was that something had gone terribly wrong.
No, come here.
They asked me, you with the light, help us out.
We gotta get everybody out.
It was pointing my light wherever they needed.
Where's Chief Cowan? Right here. Where's Chief Cowan?
I remember seeing Chief Pfeiffer.
Command post in Tower 1. To all units. Evacuate the building.
Not out there, that's going on.
Command post to all units.
He gave it right away, very calm, didn't wait. And it was, for him, it was a precaution. It was, okay, something wrong is happening. Let's get everybody out.
Where's that flashlight?
From the tone of his voice, I knew that it was no normal thing. I knew it was time to leave.
I remember saying to the guys, well, we're on our own now.
And for the first time, I looked in someone else's eyes and saw fear, which you don't see with the firemen. We orderly evacuated. It was such a long walk, 21, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13.
I was going down the stairs. I can remember a fireman resting on the landing and telling them, you know, we've heard a mayday, get out of the building. And, I don't think they, a lot of them, I know for a fact, did not take it serious.
Sarge? Hey, Pete! Come on, Pete!
I was not even consciously filming. I was just had my camera by my side and pointing the light wherever they needed.
Sorry.
Needed my light to actually help someone, and then I realized it was Father Judge.
Hey guys, here, we need a hand here.
We saw him lying at the base of the escalator where we were. And I removed his white collar and I opened up his shirt. And I remember checking for his pulse and realizing at that time he was gone.
All right, we got 4 guys. Yeah, I got it. Top of the escalator. Top of the escalator?
Top of the escalator.
After that, we had to figure out how to get out of where we were.
Because if you go out this way, right where we are now, people are still jumping, debris still falling, and it's too dangerous. You cannot go out this way.
At the World Trade Center, we took a hit on that last explosion. Which way?
Can we get out here? Out this way, too?
Chief Pfeiffer tells the people carrying Father Judge, okay, stay here.
Which way?
I told him that I'll be back and wait here and I'll see if the bridge is still here.
Chief Pfeiffer went to check one of the footbridges leading out of the Trade Center. If it was still standing, it'd be their best way out.
What are we gonna do? Oh, there's no way to get home.
Did you hear what happened with the other tower? You see the tower collapse? The top or the whole thing?
Looked like the whole thing. We'll head down together.
And now I wonder for the first time if Julie's still alive. I never thought about it before.
Honey, it's a terrible, terrible day. I'm sure they're happy.
I realized that Jules could be dead at that very moment. And I was feeling so responsible. I was the one who put him in this situation. I had to find Jules.
Gideon hitched a ride with 3 off-duty firemen, determined to get to the Trade Center the only way they could, in a pickup truck.
You shouldn't have even come in here, man.
Battalion 1 to Division 1.
We walk and we walk and we walk. And there are maydays being given, and we start to figure out, okay,
We should be able to get out here.
it's much be worse than we think, because you cannot have that many maydays and all that dust and that noise.
That's when I felt the danger for the first time. It was all around you. I mean, every single cell of your body was telling you, you should not be here. The scenery was radically different. I mean, it was this white powder everywhere.
Take yourself his mask. You get masked, we get an extra cylinder, and I'm gonna go in.
Just a few people here and there. And this kind of silence.
You have ambulances straight down.
Of course, there's no word on casualties.
You have ambulances straight down.
But suffice to say, the loss of life presumably profound.
Ambulance straight down. Ambulance straight down.
Of course, at this point, everyone's concern is just getting north, getting away from the World Trade Center, as well as finding out where their families are.
The south tower of the World Trade Center just minutes ago collapsed to the ground. Only one tower is standing at this point.
I have a direct line of sight to what is left of the World Trade Center. The fire continues to burn. I can see the flames through the thick smoke.
Battalion 1 to Chief Calvin.
By this time, Chief Pfeiffer had found a safe exit and tried to radio the men in the lobby. No answer.
So we walked across the bridge back towards the Trade Center. Still trying to call on the radio and not getting through.
The guys that we had left there, they're not there anymore.
They had already gone out another way, carrying the body of Father Michael Judge down the street to St. Peter's Church. They laid his body on the altar. Father Mike's death certificate is number 00001, the first official casualty of the attacks. The chief, his aide Eddie Fahey, and Jules walked outside, underneath the footbridge they just crossed, and into a scene that none of them could even comprehend.
And there's debris everywhere. There's dust covering the entire place. And we look, and the tower's here. So we say, okay, probably it was something else. The tower is nice, it's standing. The other one, we can't see it, but it's probably just, on the other side, and no one tells us. We have no clue. So we walk north.
Just trying to figure out what took place here, and then try to gain some control. And then was just a sense that this wasn't a good place to stay.
Chief Pfeiffer's priority was to set up a new command post and find his men. Right now, they were coming down the stairs.
At some point, I started to run. I don't even know if I was touching stairs on my way down. When I got about to 3 or 2 is when I started to think of my family, So I got to get out of here.
When we reached the lobby, I joked about it. I said the command post was abandoned. The board was set up and nobody was there. I said, oh, this is not a good sign.
I knew there was nothing I could really do. I mean, I was not a fireman. I had absolutely no medical expertise at all. As just a civilian. But as a cameraman, yeah, there was something I could do. And it was to document what was happening. So the cameraman took over and just filmed.
Gideon had made his way as close to the tower as he could.
Strange enough, the only thing that was my preoccupation was to clean my lens.
Jules was with Chief Pfeiffer, who was plotting his next move. The firefighters from my house had reached the lobby and scattered.
You know, kind of walking at this point. We knew we were out of the building, felt we were safe.
Unfortunately, there were people jumping out of windows. You could see them hitting the ground all around you, debris hitting the ground.
Get yourself accounted for with Chief Torrey down at staging. Let's move. Come on, officers.
Basically, everybody was standing right in the shadow of Tower 1. It was 10:28 in the morning.
And this huge roar.
And I don't even have time to think at that point. I just run. Then I feel someone jumping on top of me, and then the dust.
At that point, I realized that I was going to die.
We need help.
And the only thing I could think about was Jules. And I remember telling myself that if I would survive that, I would be a better brother.
Let's go before the car blow up. This way.
And it's dead silence. It's nothing. No radio calls, no sound, nothing. And I feel the person who was on top of me get up.
Get out of here. You with me? Yeah.
And I recognize it's Chief Pfeiffer's voice. And I just realized it's just, you know, it jumped on top of me to protect me from all this. Chief Pfeiffer said, okay, let's go now. And we get up. The dust starts to clear because the wind was blowing in the opposite direction.
After that, it was just trying to literally walk around the block and regroup and walk back to the scene and see what we could do.
No! Closers!
Do you have some water, something to drink? Thanks.
Open your mouth, because I need the water too.
I had been in this street 3 times in the last hour. The first time, it was full of people. The second time, everybody was running away from it. And the third time, getting out of the last collapse, there was just nobody. And everything was white. everything was covered by the dust.
Holy shit.
It was the most surreal scene I have ever seen. I cannot describe what took place.
It is a scene just not to be believed. The smoke's still billowing. What we do have is a lockdown. You can't get in, you can't get out, you can't go up, you can't go down.
I see that I'm still in the middle of the street, and I see there is a little deli. It seems to be open in the corner.
Yeah, we're getting O2 now. Oh, okay. Come on in, guys. He's on the back. He's on the back. He's on the back. Right to right. I was wondering my girl.
A lot of people injured. Firefighters, bloody nose, things like that. And then it hits me, but now where is my brother?
Go back here.
I start realizing that I've probably lost my brother. So I try to go back to the World Trade Center. I need to go find my brother.
Where are the guys? I have no idea. I was with Chief Pfeiffer.
And I'm in the middle of the street walking, and a cop approached me and says, you know, who are you with?
I'm with the chief of with Battalion 1.
Oh, you're Battalion 1?
Yeah.
You got ID?
Don't have ID. I have my letter of, from the commissioner.
Take your letter and your camera and get out of here. All right? Go.
So I go back up, walk north, not really knowing where I'm going.
Police department?
No, they're making a documentary on the fire department.
Come on, this ain't fucking Disneyland. Let's go.
And after a while, I said, you know, there's nothing I can do here. I need to go back to the firehouse. Maybe they'll have some news, and maybe he's already back there. But at that point, I think he's dead. And it becomes too overwhelming.
Walking back to the firehouse and not trying to think for 1 second about Jules. That was too much.
Don't worry, honey. We're standing.
Everyone's asking me, what happened? What happened? I said, hell. Hell is what happened.
It just came down, and it wasn't supposed to come down.
It's not easy being a survivor. Little to little, the guys started to come back, one by one.
Can't explain why I'm here and there's so many dead. Very emotional. A lot of guys are crying.
So many thoughts and emotions and...
The way we lucked out, we were in one. Two fell first, and then they told us to get out.
Two fell first?
Two fell first.
I can't figure this out. One didn't fall first.
That's why they were getting us out.
We got to call our loved ones, tell them we were okay.
It was fucking sick. But we just got out. We just got out. I got up 2 blocks, and I'm like, I'm still not far enough. I got to run this thing.
You know, you just needed to be with the guys, you know.
I couldn't get back in. They wouldn't let me off.
I was never so glad to see firemen in my life.
It was a great thing to know that people were surviving this.
I thought you guys were dead.
Not the only one. I thought I was dead.
No, it's rough, boss. That's rough.
That was the scariest thing when I came out. It's like, oh my God, am I glad to see you.
We were the lucky ones.
I don't think it's luck. I mean, it's a miracle that we're here.
Miracle isn't a word you hear much from firefighters, especially not on that day. But what else could you call it? One guy after another was making it back. Safe.
Down here looking. I got thrown into 2 ambulances. We bolted, we ran.
I can't believe we all made it out. How did we make it out of that building? 30 seconds, another 2 flights higher.
Again, the cameraman would just film them coming back and asking them if they had seen Jules. And nobody could answer this question.
What's up, brother? What's up?
It was extremely frustrating and annoying. One guy from the firehouse came to me and I asked him, you know, have you seen Jules? I mean, do you know where he is? And he looked at me and he said, yes, he's behind you. And I turned over and Jules was there in the firehouse. I didn't even see him coming in. And it was like meeting for the first time.
Quoi? Écoutez-moi, moi j'étais en vie, je savais pas si tu étais dans le camion, mais je les voyais pas au début.
I asked Jules if he's all right. He tells me yes. He tells me that he was all that time in the lobby.
I tell him, I know now what it's like to think you're going to die. And then I tell him, I got the first plane and I filmed, and do you have enough tape?
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Good to see you. All right, you okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, close?
Under.
Yeah, okay, good.
All
right, good, all right.
And it definitely was a miracle, you know?
Oh, fuck, man. We're worried about you. You don't know what happened to you guys. Oh, God. Everybody's all right? Everybody's accounted for?
Right here.
You got everybody? Right here. Everybody's accounted for?
Everybody come back one by one to the firehouse,
You all right? What's up, Patty?
except one.
Did you see Tony over there by the tunnels?
Tony. Yeah, that's what I heard.
Here we were, all accounted for, except for Tony. Everybody was wondering about Tony.